Welcome to the Monster Mindset Podcast, and just sitting here today with Tony Evans. You can find him on Instagram at Tony Evans Crypto. Tony's a really interesting guy. I met him in Miami going to a weekend crypto mastermind with Jordan Belfort, Wolf of Wall Street, and that was a great networking event. Tony is the person I have stayed easily in the closest contact with since then. I think that he and I think a lot alike, and that very entrepreneurial mindset, opportunity-driven, push yourself and experience life type of a mindset as well. Tony, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and how you've got to where you're at and what's brought you to this point.
Okay. Thanks, Doug. Much appreciated. Yeah, that weekend was a fun weekend, and I'm glad I stayed in contact with you. And I think I've known you now for a month, and this is our third city together. So yeah, it's quite interesting. I'm originally from North Wales. I moved to Japan when I was 19. Been in financial services most of my life, and then moved into cryptocurrency. So I saw the opportunity and I focused on that. And I've been in it from close to the beginning as one can be, and enjoyed the ups, the downs. We've done some interesting projects. I was involved with the first publicly traded blockchain company on the pink sheets here. Done a lot of projects around finance. My whole focus is on finance of physical, because I'm not a technical person.
Welcome to the podcast, Monsters. I'm your host, Doug Bartlett. If you have a mind for business or you want to grow, we are the podcast for you. What was the take on the fight night thing? Like, why did you decide to do that?
It was for charity.
Just for charity fundraiser, just because you wanted to?
But also I wanted more clients. So the idea was we got our clients to invite to get their clients to come along. So half the event, we basically we gave tickets to our clients, but the only condition was they had to bring a client, a potential client with them.
Okay.
So that's was the whole idea for it. Yeah. So we actually created the whole thing behind it, and then we got all the clients. We basically made more money with referrals than anything else. So,
what business were you promoting at that time or trying to get clients for?
Financial advice.
Financial advice.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that business still active, or
is I took it from old financial advice like pensions, IRAs and stuff like that, and I moved it into crypto financial advice. Mm-hmm. So that was the basis of FGC Group. But at the moment, I have to move it outside of Japan because the tax in Japan now has gone crazy.
Oh, what's the income tax, or just taxes for each transaction, or what?
Oh, each transaction. So last year, people that had Bitcoin at the beginning of the year, started out at just above 20 grand. Okay, it went up to 60, so they have to pay at 60.
What do you mean they have to pay at 60? I'm not following you.
Okay, in Japan, the new rules state that you have to pay tax every year on every transaction, even if you don't sell.
Right.
So if you had 100 grand at the beginning, mm-hmm. it went up to 60, so it trebled. So you then have 300,000. Mm-hmm. You'd have to pay 50% of that transaction. So you'd have to pay $100,000 in tax. But at the end of the year, it went down to it was about 40,000. It ended the year around 40,000. So you'd have to pay out 100,000. Okay, and you would lose half your portfolio just to pay the tax.
That's crazy.
Yes, it's.
Do you think that's going to happen, like in the States and around the world, where they're just going to get really, really heavy on crypto taxes, or what do you think the future of that is?
No, I don't think so, because there's a huge thing now that you can actually buy crypto through the Roth IRAs. You can put 10% of your portfolio into crypto,
and so it's tax-free in the United States, essentially.
Yes. It's
pre-tax.
It is. It's a way how you hold the assets more than anything else. Countries that are more financially inclined, okay, the US, the UK, Hong Kong, Singapore, it's a financial center. Okay, this is what they're known for. So I think they'll adapt to it. But there's too much money for them to ignore it, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, I don't think they can ignore it. I think that they're, all going to be creatively trying to figure out ways to tax it. But I'm just concerned about how to make it a profitable business if it is being taxed at such a rate. Because I think one of the early attractions is you're kind of operating, under the wire.
It is, but it's the simple, like in America, if you want to operate under the wire, you just set up an LLC out of Delaware, and then you do it through there.
Yeah.
Okay? It's not that hard. But London's already declared that it's going for it. It's already said we're going to issue the first NFT from a nation state. So I already know from my connections there, there's London's going hard on crypto now, and London wants to become the crypto capital. So London is always, if it can make money out of it, London wants it.
What's the benefit? Why would they issue an NFT? What's their premise?
Because then they can it's for corporates, to invite corporates to come here. They can say, okay, do you want to work with a nation that is supporting crypto, that is issuing crypto itself, NFT, or do you want to go somewhere where regulation is a little bit uncertain?
Right.
Creating that environment.
I mean, I see him being proactive on it, but but I was just trying to tie in, how does the NFT play into a nation?
It's a marketing point of view more than anything.
Okay.
But also, if you think about a nation always issues certain things as commemorative. If, like in America, you have the coins that is very, very valuable here.
Right.
Okay. In the UK, stamps is quite stamps and coins. Mm-hmm. But also this year is going to be the Platinum Jubilee of the Queen. So it works quite nicely into what is being issued. So the Royal Mint is going to issue certain coins out there and certain commemorative, and then they're going to
have an NFT attached.
Yes. So I don't know if they're going to do it for the Queen, but they want to do something a bit unusual. Yeah, it's they've always wanted to try and embed technology to make it relevant.
Yeah, the space is changing so fast; it's insane.
Actually, the space is evolving fast, but I think it's you and me have a very unusual perspective. Okay, you and me look at this every day on probably hours and hours basis. Okay,
yeah,
we can actually see the evolution of it. It's like anything. If you're a farmer and you look at the field every day, you can say this is evolving so fast every day.
Right.
Okay? But if you're a standard by, you just go,
yeah.
And that's the thing. It's just like you and me have this perspective. We are looking outside and inside simultaneously, so we can see the movement. And for people like us, it's a little bit overwhelming because we go, shit, it goes so fast. Yeah.
Right.
But how much of the world has got it now? It's about 0.6% of the world have NFTs. 6% of the world have cryptos. We're so early.
Right.
It's not even a question anymore. It's just more about, okay, I look at things and go, yes, this place is evolving so fast, but the general population haven't even caught up to 2 years ago technology yet.
Right.
So,
no, that's true, because you talk to people all the time who are like, what's an NFT? They don't have even a concept of, they're like, why would people pay so much for this JPEG?
Yeah.
And they don't understand, it's the membership, not the JPEG so much. I mean, there's certain circumstances where it is, Beeple, for example.
Yes, Takashi Murakami,
right.
All these individuals, but I think that's the part. It's like, why do people pay so much to go to a golf course or a members club?
Country club, yeah.
Yes, it's you do it because you want to be part. It's the network. It's the old analogy. Your network is your net worth, and it's true. It is so true. So
yeah, and speaking of the network, that was actually one of the things I felt like was the most valuable about going to that Jordan Belfort weekend in Miami. And that's kind of what I was looking for, I think, also going in. What took you down there? What was the main driver for you to get down there?
Network.
Yeah. With Jordan or just with the group?
With the group.
Yeah.
I know Jordan from before he was crypto friendly. So
you knew him? You actually knew him or knew of him?
No, I actually knew. I spent a weekend with him in LA.
Oh, at another mastermind or something?
It was I can't remember exactly, but it was an interesting weekend. But there was only 2 of us or something there at that time.
Oh,
so it was a nice weekend, and it was different. But he changed his whole attitude towards crypto. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, for sure. Tony, for our viewers, can you give me a little bit of background about yourself, like what you're doing right now, like the type of business you're involved in, sure, what your focuses are, what you're speaking about, because when you're speaking, that type of stuff. Just give us a little bit more.
Yeah, sure. No, it's okay. I'm originally from the UK. Originally from a place like Boise, but smaller even, okay? I'm from North Wales, so the village I came from was around 3,000 people, so it was tiny.
Yeah.
The apartment block that I moved to in Japan had more people in it than the village I lived in, so yeah. But I started out in financial services, insurance, and then moved into wealth management in Asia. So moved there when I was 19 and started working there in regards to wealth management, preservation of wealth, asset protection and insurance in Japan, and then moved to Korea, also a bit in the Philippines and China. I lived in China for over a year. And so I focused on there, but then decided 7 years ago now, that crypto was the future, and decided to go into that and do the same thing. People wanted help in regards to crypto advice, crypto structuring, so we started a financial advice for crypto at that time. But people weren't as attractive to crypto advice at that time. We then had a lot of structuring of crypto projects and crypto advice at that time. So we went into crypto advice.
I mean, 7 years ago was 2015 that you decided that you were moving into the crypto space.
Yep.
Way early adopter. Like, what turned your head at that point?
I think people forget at that time Japan was the center of the crypto market. Japan caught the fever of crypto before anybody else.
Really?
Yes.
How did you see that in the, you were living there? How did you see that with the, was it on the news? Was it just people talking about it? What?
It was it was on the news, but also there was a lot of people talking about it, okay? I know Roger Ver when he was pitching Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash, okay, in a small bar in Roppongi, okay? I remember when he was doing this. I remember how he came and he built up his empire from it. Okay, so I remember this. I remember lots of stories about how crypto was changing the world, the opportunity, but also how the Japanese were going into it big time.
And are they? I mean, they're taxing the crap out of it. Is the public still? Is it a heavier use in Japan than in other countries?
It's actually legal in Japan. That's the part. Retake?
No, we'll just leave that in. It's good. It's good. It's good. It's good mood. Like I'm like,
yeah. Yeah. Japan's got the bells and whistles on it. Come on.
So it's legal in Japan for what? You didn't finish the sentence.
Okay. So Japan has legalized cryptocurrency before any other nation. Okay, from 2017, they made it legal in regards to transactions and in regards to regulations.
Okay.
So many people forget that Japan and China have a love-hate relationship.
Yeah.
Okay? What I mean is they love to hate each other. So, okay. But when China banned it, I can't remember which time it was.
Right.
Japan started the legal side of saying, okay, we're going to put the regulations into place and everything else. So Japan started to put the regulation into place. Then Japan's now started putting the taxation into place as well. So
I see. Yeah, it's a tricky one to tax other than just by requiring reporting, because it's, blockchain, right? And they don't have any, if you're dealing with standard coins, Bitcoin, Ethereum, something like that, then it's going to be hard for them to tax unless the people choose to report it, right?
Actually, it's not, because in Japan, the institutions have to report to all the individuals that hold accounts with them.
Okay.
Okay.
So anytime you're doing a transaction through a site,
yeah,
you're required to report.
It is. If you're going through a site that is regulated in Japan. So, for instance, like you can't use Binance there. Now it's very hard to use Binance in Japan. Coinbase, you have to go through the Japan Coinbase to go into the site. So they're very, very particular in the way that they're structuring stuff these days.
I see.
So, yes, there are many other ways of doing it, but there's structures you can put into place to trying to reduce it and trying to put it more efficient, but you have to be very careful because a lot of the sites that pop up aren't regulated. And if you look at the hacking situation, how many people have been phished and just lost so much,
right? Yep.
It's scary. So it has to be a balance more than anything else.
Yeah, it's like the phishing scams are constant. My son actually lost half an Ethereum out of a small wallet that he had at some point because of a phishing scam.
Mm-hmm.
So it definitely does happen. So I'm glad it didn't happen on my ledger.
Exactly. So but the thing is, okay, you are already so far ahead of majority of the people having ledgers and everything like that. You understand what the problem is, and you found a solution to it.
Yeah.
And that's the nice thing about this industry. For every problem, there's a solution. Well, I believe that about anything in the world. It's just a solution can be found.
Yeah, there's no problems. There's opportunities.
Exactly. It's how you view it.
Yeah.
And I learned this very, very young with water. If you ask people about water, majority of the people go, water's good for you. And I go, really? So if I held your head under water for 10 minutes, is it good for you or bad for you? It's all how you view things. And there's always three sides to every story. There's your side, there's the other person's side, and then there's truth.
Right.
So and I always try and use that in my analogy and the way I think.
Yeah. What do you... for somebody that's just getting into the space of NFTs and crypto, what would you tell them to do, like early on? Just what should they learn or what should they know to, make good choices?
Well, firstly, they need to understand the basic blocks of cryptocurrency. They need to understand what blockchain is, what cryptocurrency is. That is a big, big part of it. Okay, because you can jump into NFT straight away and it's great, but NFT is a byproduct of crypto and blockchain.
Right.
So I would always say you have to have a foundation of understanding what this is, understanding blockchain, crypto, then the understanding how smart contracts, just the general view of it. Very, very, very simple.
Right.
Then about wallets. Okay, what's the difference between public keys, private keys, and everything like that? You just have to understand the general gist of it. You don't need to understand it fully, but you need to understand the general understanding of it. Mm-hmm. And then after that, you can then move on to the NFTs and stuff like that. Because as you said, you can lose millions and millions of dollars like that. Yeah. I've done it myself. Okay, I've lost a lot of money myself by phishing scams or hacking scams or wallets getting stolen or codes getting broken. So
right.
It's not a nice feeling.
Right. Yeah. No. Yeah, it's a terrible feeling. Sickening. If you were, what's the easiest explanation of the blockchain that you've ever heard?
Reply all email.
The what?
Reply all email.
Okay. Explain.
Okay. You know, you get an email and there's 100 people into it. Okay, think of that as the blockchain.
Okay.
A blockchain will send information out to every individual with every transaction. So just like reply all email, every transaction or every conversation, everybody gets the information
Right.
constantly.
Right.
So all that information is then stored on everybody's computer
Yeah.
individually.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if number 27 says, okay, I want to do this transaction, he will then send an email out to everybody in the group saying, guys, I want to do this transaction.
Right.
If 51 of those individuals say yes, then that transaction is approved, and then that transaction is then added to the chain.
Yeah.
That is how I viewed it. Okay, this is my own explanation.
Okay.
I'm not.
That's a good one.
And I'm not a technical person, but everybody understands what reply all is.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you put it into that analogy of, okay, everybody gets the information, everybody can talk about it, then you can take it a little bit more technical if you want to explain it to people.
Right.
So.
And when you're dealing with a transaction, you know, if everybody knows that at some point, you know, Joe gave Tom, you know, an item for a set amount of money,
yes,
everybody knows that Tom now owns it.
Yes, exactly.
And so when he goes to sell it again, if somebody else says, no, I have this thing, everybody knows that actually Tom owns it.
Exactly.
So they're saying, hey, you're full of crap. Mm-hmm. You don't actually own that. That's a fake.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the community. And just like reply all email, the information that's on this email gets bigger and bigger. So, and that's it's one of the situations with the Bitcoin, for instance, at the moment, because there's so much information on the blockchain, the transactions are taking longer to go through. Just like an email, if you've got megabyte and megabyte and megabyte of data that has to be processed every single time, it takes long time to go through. So
yeah. Yep.
It's that kind of analogy that I thought it's much simpler to go through than trying to explain blockchain in the technical terms. So
no, that's a good simple explanation. I think that would help a lot of people, you know, get a fundamental understanding that it's a network of computers that are, you know, validating transactions simultaneously.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Kind of like the reply all makes
yes.
sense. You were speaking in Miami at the Bitcoin conference? Or?
Yes, I was speaking in many conferences in Miami. So it was a interesting time in Miami. Miami, it's my third time in Miami this year, and it's only in April. It's quite crazy. But I was talking about the NFTs, and I was talking about KISS. Okay, so two different parts of it. NFT, I was talking about the integration of the physical and digital aspects of it.
Yep.
I believe this is the future of NFTs.
Right.
Okay? And then the other part of it, I was talking about KISS. KISS is keep it simple, stupid, but also knowledge in the simplest spec about investing. And talking about how little of the world that's already investing into cryptocurrency and the opportunity is still there. We're not even a Google yet. Okay, the whole industry is not even the size of Google. So when you look at it, okay, I'll send you a slide afterwards so you can show your viewers the different things. But I'll show you the size of the real estate market. Okay,
right.
The gold market. Okay, you're talking about 120 trillion. Okay, gold market, equity market, and everything. And right at the bottom, you have crypto. And people still say they're too late to it. So this is the part I was talking about, investing, and we still got time to go through it. So those were the two things I was looking at. I was explaining about how if you want to invest in this and how you want to get people involved, you need to keep it simple. And the other side was about NFTs and how to integrate NFTs into physical projects and physical items.
Yeah, and you're currently doing that with a winery. Tell us about the winery.
Yes, I love wine, okay, and I love NFT, and I thought, okay, let's integrate these things together. So I decided to go and put a purchase for a winery and then see the whole field of wine, like where they produce the wine, and that is the NFTs. Okay, so the NFT is linked to the production of wine off that winery. So if you hold the NFT, you can either receive the wine because you're the owner of it, or if you don't want it, you can assign it back to the chateau, okay, and you'll get the income from it.
Right.
So that is one aspect of it. You also become part of this community where you also get nights, X amount of nights per year, allocated to yourself, and if you want to use them, great. If you don't, you sign them back, and it can be then processed where you can be sold on Airbnb, on Booking, or something like that.
Okay. So the winery has facilities for
Yes.
people to stay over, and
Yes.
interesting.
And then do events. So events in the winery and stuff like that,
Right.
where we can invite people to come and enjoy the whole situation. So there's different things that we're looking at to integrate the community. The whole NFTs will also be used as part of the packaging of the wine. So if you're the holder of that NFT, you would get an extra prize or extra allocation or an airdrop for that year because your NFT is used. So it's all about community, and also it's a give and take kind of relationship.
Yeah. What's the how does somebody find that if they're interested in?
I haven't officially launched it publicly yet. Okay, so but I'll send you the I'll put the details. So you can put it down here, but you can put it on it's on my Instagram and everything like that. People can find it on there, and they'll see where it comes in. But you'll get first. You'll know about it before anybody else knows about it. Okay.
Yeah, awesome. I just thought I'd give you a chance to pitch it out there.
Thank you very much. That's.
But it's a great example of the physical and the digital merging, and I think that it's like where your imagination can go with it is there's probably possibilities. I got to be honest though, there's one area where I've struggled with this, and that is how does crypto? I mean, I could take cryptocurrency as payment for roofing, but I haven't really figured out any good way to tie NFTs into the roofing business.
No. What about a warranty?
Yeah, we talked about warranties and having that being like a transferable warranty as an NFT that goes with a new roof, and so that's the only idea I've heard from anybody that's even a possibility that makes any kind of sense whatsoever. But then, it's also like, what's the value of it being an NFT versus just offering a warranty that's transferable?
Okay, a warranty is issued by an entity like your company, for instance.
Yeah.
Okay. But there's nobody knows about the transactions and stuff like that. If you want to embrace the crypto, you can put it on the blockchain where everybody can see, okay, this was transacted here, but also there's 1,000 other people on this transaction as well. So I'm coming part into this community where I know there's more than me in this community. If you're just issuing a warranty from a company, you don't know how many people are inside of it. It's that community spirit that is the key to NFTs. It's all about what do NFT give you, okay? It gives you, you can see the transactions. The other thing is the community spirit, okay? The social aspect of it. So that is, those are the two areas I believe is crucial, okay? But also with roofing, it would be the warranty is one part of it, but the community part of it is I need a little bit of time to think about it. But the warranty is one thing. I'm just thinking, is there anything else you can integrate?
I mean, you can have a barbecue.
You can have a barbecue into it. You can have a
customer appreciation events.
You could have that kind of thing, but because if you do something like that, like we were talking just before about the event I was doing in Tokyo, was if you did that kind of barbecue and said, okay, come to this barbecue, but bring a friend, okay, you've then got a hot pool of individuals, okay, that you can go and sell to,
right?
Because those people already know that you've helped.
It's a warm market, yeah.
Yes, okay, and that amount of money that you spend on a barbecue is probably going to be less than you spend on SEOs, on Google Ads, and marketing and anything else.
Yeah.
But the aspect of it is it's a community spirit. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that the charity stuff. We've done a couple of roof replacements for like veterans or situations where Habitat for Humanity. We did like a veteran and a Habitat for Humanity a couple, 2 or 3 times now, and I think that charity aspect of it could be tied in somehow as well.
That's even maybe just created. So the warranty or buying the NFT, for instance, would buy the roof. But let's say a couple of percentage of the money from that NFT would go into a pool. Okay?
Right, for the community.
For the community. And then you would then build it up from there. So, or even put that into a pool and then go buy a house or something, okay?
Yeah.
To actually start generating income. I'm all for charity, but the one thing with charity I'm trying to figure out how to evolve it is charity is always about taking, if you can make it more self-sufficient and also replenish the funds also themselves, then the aspects of them needing becomes less, and they can become more efficient and more self-sufficient. So
yeah. What are some passion projects that you're working on right now? I know you got the winery. Is there anything else? And you're traveling a ton. You're speaking.
And speaking a ton, I'm one project. The company and I launched. It's about. I like bankrupt projects. Okay.
Yeah. You talked about that a lot in the time we've been together.
Yeah. Sorry.
Explain that for us.
Okay. You've been in this field for a long time. Okay. Tokens and NFT projects die.
Yeah. Left and right.
But the amount of money they raised is substantial.
Mm-hmm.
So majority of the time, they will use it to buy something or build something. But when they go dead, all that stuff is just left behind.
Right.
So it's what are you going to do with it? So this is the part I'm looking at, and the company's looking at is like, guys, I'll take that over, okay, and I will find a new place to put it. I will then put it into a new project, or I'll asset strip it, or I'll assign it to another company, or I'll bring 3 projects together and create a new project.
Yeah.
Okay? But I'll make sure that you get revenue from this, and your investors get also part from it.
Right.
So there's so much stuff left behind that one has to look at them, because that's a huge opportunity.
It's interesting because if you explain it in the way that you just did, where it's like the investors that came up with the money for a project and the person who created it have failed, and if you're talking about something that's where there's not a lot of physical assets, essentially you're talking about code assets. At the end of the day, like, they really don't have anything that's very sellable, unless somebody like you comes along and says, hey, we can turn this into something, and you will get something out of it. So I would have to imagine that you're probably getting some serious amounts of code for essentially free, as long as you promise some type of return if it works out.
Okay. Promise is a word that is used a lot.
Not promise.
But it's not actually
speculate a return.
Okay. But the way I will always say is like, I want you to become a partner in this. Maybe a small partner, but you'll be part of the team.
Right.
Okay. And this is you, as if this succeeds, you'll get something from it. If it doesn't succeed, you haven't lost anything. You're exactly the same place you were before.
Yeah.
So this is the part I look at it and go, this is the opportunity. But the opportunity is more than that. Is you hit on it. It's about code. It's about technical assets. The one thing that you and I have, and your viewers have, and everybody has, is if we wake up every morning, okay, we have 86,400 seconds in a day. We've got 24 hours in a day.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing that is the same for every single individual in the world. We have 24 hours in a day.
Right. So
it's the same thing with business. So businesses, new projects and stuff like that, we're going to be building this for 3 months and we're going to be launching it. If I can go and find some of these projects here that is 50% of what you want, I've already saved you 6 weeks.
Right.
6 weeks. You're already 6 weeks ahead. Okay.
Yeah.
Money is one aspect, but giving you time, that is valuable, because you said it at the beginning of your podcast is this market is changing so fast.
Right.
So if you can actually
accelerate that curve.
Yes.
Yeah.
You've already got it. And that's the exciting part for me. For me, don't ask me about technology. Don't ask me about I got no idea about the technology. I've got aspects of it. I understand how it works, but I don't understand how the coding works and stuff like that, because I'm not a technology person.
Yeah. But knowing the space that you're in and with the winery that you're working on and the code that you have, and at least understanding the concepts of it, kind of goes back to the conversation we had last night. A lot of what you're doing with your winery NFT could apply to a real estate NFT.
Yes.
It's a distribution of assets on the blockchain where there's, understanding of what you hold and a value received for it. And so essentially the product really doesn't make that much difference. It's just about whether or not you can, put it together with an asset that's going to generate some type of return, whether that's wine or money or whatever it is.
It's all about making the digital to physical. A lot of these concepts is all, and blockchain and crypto is all about technical, or it's all about some kind of code or marketing or some kind of magic technology. For people, the normal people, we're into physical. We're into feeling stuff and understanding it.
Right.
So if we can bring the two aspects together, and all you see is certain things, then it makes it easier for you to understand, and it's easier for you to enter this market. Because if you know you have this for this, I understand that. But you don't have to wait to see if a technology comes up in 6 months or a year. It's something where you understand the physical is there, the digital is there, and this is how it works, kind of thing. It's trying to make it simpler for people to understand.
Yeah. I kind of see, in a lot of ways what you're doing is you're creating an incubator.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes a lot of sense. It's something that actually my team and I have talked about is like, could we become a blockchain or NFT incubator? Because there's no shortage of ideas. Like there's absolutely no shortage of ideas. It's just whether or not you can put together the right team to execute on it well.
Yeah, and I think that's when we started talking, and we saw a lot of ability to collaborate together and work together in this field. I also look at it from the other side, is everybody has ideas for crypto, Then you have the incubator, but then you have to have, I believe this is this crucial part on this side, is going to people that have already got the customers, already got the supporters, going to businesses and say, guys, you've heard about NFT, would you like to be inside of it? Yes, but I know you don't understand it, but here's a proposition. We will do this for you, but we need you to do this, this, and this. You make them a partner, You use their businesses as a way to accelerate your product.
Right. Yeah, and we've talked about that with infinite stages and directions we could go with how to get the existing community to promote a project based around music.
Yes, music is an interesting one. It's a huge, huge one. I believe things like streaming music, movies, anything we like to enjoy, is something where we can take this into a sexy point of view, So because it's sexy, it's interesting. It's something where I can listen to music, I can do this, and what we talked about last night about the music project, it's interesting because it's close to what we know now, but we add the digital part to it. So, but the part is, this is a great idea and everything like that, but we need it to be fed with artists, we also need to be fed by community, and we need to get energy. And if you don't have that already placed into the system, then it's going to cost a lot of money to market and put that together.
I just had an epiphany about the music space that I don't want to share on this podcast right now, but we need to talk about after this.
Sure. Let's go like this.
It could reform the space, but that's one of those kind of aha or duh or something moments where it's like, oh my God, why didn't I think of this before? This makes sense.
But as I said, there's three aspects to everything.
Yeah.
There's what you've seen all your life and been told all your life. Okay. Then there's when other people see things, and then the truth. Nobody will ever find the truth, because that's always a viewpoint of somebody else. The truth will always be pure. It will never be touched.
Yeah.
So as you see things from different angles, that's the aha moment you get.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, is that you have these conversations and
Yes.
you have different interactions, and it's one thing I actually do intentionally, and something that I would advise anybody to do is be intentional about how you feed your brain. So, lots of people are like, oh, read books or whatever, but have conversations with people that are outside your normal box.
Yep.
and bounce ideas off of them, and that have different viewpoints than yours. I also subscribe to a magazine app, and I don't in depth read any of the magazines, maybe other than one or two. But I do every month go through about 15 or 20 different magazines just very briefly and just pull the highlights. Because it sparks ideas in my brain, and I think that bringing different pieces of things together is very interesting space.
I agree with you. There's a great quote about your thoughts becomes your actions, your action becomes and this is what you create your reality. So your thoughts is where everything comes to, but you also have to do actions on it. Everybody there's an entrepreneur and there's a wantrepreneur.
Yeah.
An entrepreneur will actually have an idea and do something with it. They might succeed, they might fail.
Yeah.
A wantrepreneur is somebody who says, I want to do this, I want to do that, but doesn't do anything. Okay?
Right.
But I agree in what you just said about is what you feed into your mind is what makes you who you are. So that's why I'm very, very selective on which TV shows I watch. Because if you're watching a lot of drama in TV, this is what you get in your life, because this is what you see.
Right.
So it's very, very important what you put into your mind, because what you get out is what you get you put in. So
Yeah, garbage in, garbage out, the old programming term.
It is.
GIGO.
It is so true, but it actually comes out much worse because it's added more intensity. Because it's just changes.
Yeah, it goes through our weird human filter.
Yes, but also it adds all the other stuff you have inside your brain to it.
Yeah. What's your plan for the next 6 months, a year in this space? What direction are you headed?
I'm focusing on the taking over the bankrupt projects, the failed projects, and reviving them. That is something I'm passionate about, and I'm very, I welcome anybody that has anything like that to come and talk to you, and we can do something together with it, because this is a huge space. Okay. The other part is the physical and digital NFT. This is what I am focused on. This is the exciting part, because you get the physical and digital aspect together, it becomes interesting. So these are the two areas I'm focused on in great passions.
Is there anything that at this point that you would want to share that is a failed project that you've acquired that you see a lot of hope for in the future by combining it with something else? Anything that
there is certain ones, but it hasn't. There's one aspect that hasn't been signed off yet.
Okay.
But I'll share it on my
Social.
Instagram. But now I have to do Twitter. Or my social guys tell me you have to get on Twitter. This is how, and I'm just like, okay, I'll add another one to my things I have to talk about. But we have to. This is the field. This is the industry we're in.
Yep.
Twitter is the big building block, and with what the news came out is Twitter is in negotiation with Elon Musk now to actually do a deal. So there should be a deal done this week. So
to sell out?
Yes.
Interesting. I mean, I knew that there was offers made and he had financing, he had backing, but I didn't know that they had come to the table and said, okay, we're not going to do the poison pill.
I think they saw what would happen if they did. Yeah, because
it seems like a no-brainer. Like the poison pill seems like a horrible solution. Like you're defrauding your own ownership.
It's actually a poison pill actually feeds into what Elon is actually saying. Okay, so he's actually saying I want to create a platform for communications and sharing and everything like that.
Right.
You actually want to create a platform where you control and you do this, and putting that poison pill aspect to it. Okay, it's just not nice. It's just like it's everything that's wrong with
this whole system.
Yes.
Yeah, it's twisted. It's just straight twisted.
It's how things have been done, and this is why this $2 trillion industry has sprung up. Okay.
Right.
You adapt to survive. It's something I say on a daily basis. It's if you don't adapt to survive, you will die. Okay. So it's the same thing as look at Nokia. Okay. Nokia. If I asked you what Nokia used to be, okay,
tire company.
Used to be also before that logs. Woods.
That's right.
Yeah. So it actually went from one to another, and now it's sold out to another company. Okay. But Nokia didn't adapt when it was a mobile phone company to the next phase. It just stayed where it was.
Right.
Okay. And it died.
Yeah.
Okay. Look at Apple. Okay. Apple is the largest company, publicly traded company on earth. But Apple had to have a bailout from Bill Gates. Okay.
Yeah.
If you look at it, Apple had to get a bailout by Bill Gates. If you look at the whole Apple scenario of how they failed and succeeded, okay, it's an interesting story. It is how an entrepreneur is, and it is the American dream. You succeed, you fail, and you keep on going. That's the opportunity there is. This is exactly the same thing we have in this industry. You have to adapt to survive, and Twitter's one of the great examples of it.
Yeah. Well, I'm surprised that they're coming around because I honestly didn't think they would.
Well, if they wouldn't, okay, the amount of people that is using Twitter from the crypto space is large, and I mean substantial.
Right.
If they all moved to another platform, that would destroy the company. So either you appease your customers,
right,
or your customers will go elsewhere.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree that it's the right thing to do. Like, they should definitely go that direction, but I thought they had their blinders on.
But also, we are very, very simple animals, okay? We do things for two reasons, or the perception of two reasons, greed and fear, okay? Maybe they just went, okay, we can make money here. It's okay. Time's up. I'm out.
Yeah.
But also, as an investor in Twitter, if you saw how much return they've made compared to other social media platforms, you've seen they haven't done a good job.
Right.
Okay? So, as an investor, you're looking for something.
Yeah, some type of exit at some point or another.
Or some kind of return.
Yeah.
So.
No, interesting. Well, Tony, anything else that you think could be a hot topic to discuss?
Like entertainment as a marketplace, I believe, is huge. Okay, we spoke about it through music. Okay, but entertainment in general is huge.
Yeah, I mean, when I talk about like infinite stages, we start with music, but we've definitely thought of like church sermons and comedy clubs and all kinds of different things that would actually apply to. That makes a lot of sense.
I believe religion is a big part of this as well. Okay.
Yeah.
Because religion hasn't changed the way that it is funded or shown appreciation for hundreds and hundreds of years. If you go back to the Middle Ages, where the Vatican were issuing papal pardons and stuff like this was that version of an NFT. Okay, at that time. Okay, it's not that crazy. Okay?
Yeah.
So even historical documents. Okay, if you owned a copy of the Declaration of Independence, okay, and you published X amount, it's that kind of way to doing it. Yeah? So there's so much stuff that you can do based on this that is interesting. I also think one of the ideas that's going through my head is a football team, and I mean proper football, not your football. I mean football.
You mean soccer?
Football. Okay, football. Ball that's played with a foot. Football. So but even American football, I'll give you that one. Okay. But owning a team is something that you can do through an NFT. It's a community spirit. This is the history never repeats itself; it mirrors itself. Okay, if I looked back and I started, my mind started wandering as I've been traveling. If you go back to the Mormons, okay, and how they created the whole community, how they created the Mormon Bank. Okay, it's a community-driven bank.
Yeah.
It's a community, and this then was investing into projects where other people didn't want to invest to. Okay, that sounds very much like what we're talking about today. Yeah,
It's a fun concept to think about putting together an NFT to buy a professional, high level sports team, because like, how many millions of people would be like, I own the Dallas Cowboys.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
and they're a minuscule fraction of ownership, but they do own it, and they get dividends or some type of, benefit. Like they get to be, maybe they don't get a dividend, maybe it's just fractional ownership, but they get to be part of exclusive interviews with the quarterback twice a year.
It's all about that
They
community
get to attend
spirit. But they can come into different, like a special event where the team will come, like a dinner or a barbecue or something like that, that shareholders get certain perks through certain companies. You do it now from a membership point of view. We also got to be very careful that it's not securitization. This is also a community. This is membership. This is the same kind of basis as a sports club or a
country club membership.
Country club. Thank you very much. That kind of community, you have to give privileges that money cannot buy. Okay, like the ability to go and meet the quarterback, or the ability to take a picture or go to a game. It's that bragging rights.
Or get a lesson, or
or get a happy birthday from one of the team members.
Right.
Yeah? Something like that. It would be so much value. Money is just a unit to transact. Okay, people forget that money is just a way to exchange one thing for another thing.
Yeah.
So if you give somebody that memories, that history, something that can feel, they can touch, but where money cannot buy either. Okay, like that's the interesting part. It's like, if you think about it, when we flew to San Francisco, we flew there because we got invited, was in the box, and it was interesting.
Yeah.
Okay? Didn't stand the game at all. Okay.
Yeah.
But being in that community, in that kind of environment, was interesting because it was unique. Yeah.
Yeah. You've never been to a baseball game before?
We call it rounders. We play it at school, okay? It's totally different from our point of view. But I understood, because I was looking at the people and how excited they were, and the people were talking and having fun, and it was just something. This is what teams are, football team. It's all about that, having a chat, enjoying time, sportsmanship. It's all that kind of thing, and that's the magic. It's like there's a lot of corporations that own football teams and stuff, like baseball teams, but if you bring the community back to it, it will support it. The community is what makes or breaks a company or a business or a sports team. That's what makes it.
Yeah. I mean, I now I'm like taking it to a whole nother level. I'm thinking, you create an NFT that's going to issue a series of NFTs, and the series is going to be, each time a team comes for sale, we're going to buy it out, and eventually we're going to own the entire league.
But the thing is, okay,
And the community as NFT holders is actually getting the value out of that, and it's bringing the engagement of the community back into these sports that are losing steam right now.
It is, because it's become too boring. Okay.
Yeah.
And everybody is, different sport teams used to have rivalry. Okay. Proper rivalry, because the owners didn't like each other or something like that. Okay?
Right.
Now it's a little bit too nice. Okay. It's a little bit too. It's not sexy anymore. Okay, it's too
Politically correct.
Yes, don't get me started on that stuff. But but there's no, it's not energy. If you go to a game, it's usually the same thing over and over again.
Yeah,
I think that kind of camaraderie, that old kind of fashioned. One of the film I enjoy watching is Ferrari
versus Ford.
Yes. Okay. But it's the same kind of thing. It's that the competition brought it out.
Yeah.
And it's that rivalry. It was genuine rivalry that made them succeed.
Right.
So it's the same thing with a sports team, okay? As a sports team rivalry will come together because of historical or just fun things, but it makes it fun. And having the community own it would drive this.
I think that we've lost that in the United States, but I think I'm actually a soccer fan. I play, as you would call, football. Yeah. I haven't played in a couple of years now, but I played indoor soccer for several years, and I think about soccer leagues in Europe, and they have still, I think, that rivalry, that super passionate fan base. In fact, actually, I think it's more passionate. The fans are more passionate about soccer in the United States than they are about football and baseball and the NBA, that type of stuff. Because I went to a Seattle Sounders game a couple of years ago, and man, the ritualistic type of entry of the team and the chanting and is way more passionate than anything I've seen at any other sporting event.
It is. It's exactly like the gladiators kind of approach, okay? The chanting, the marching of them in, okay? The showing them to the people, either singing and every team has its own songs.
Yeah.
And it's something, it's just that kind of, it's just being a child. It's like that inner innocence where you're just there just to let go. And that's the exciting part. So.
Yeah, and I think that we've commercialized everything so much in America that we've lost that energy that you're talking about.
Yes.
It's interesting.
I was watching a documentary called Bloomberg's, they look at different entrepreneurs, and I was watching one about Mark Cuban, okay, when he bought the Dallas Cowboys, Mavericks.
Mavericks, yeah.
Thank you. And how many times he got fined in the season because of he was shouting at the referee, he was doing this, but where the Mavericks was when he bought them to where they are now, it was because of his passion, his way of communicating with the fans, and the fans seeing, actually, I give a damn.
Yes, somebody cares.
Yes. And because of that, occupancy went up 30%, and they are where they are now because of him. Yeah.
Right.
And that was the thing, is like when they won the first championship or something, it broke out, thank you, Mark, and it was just like, whoa, yeah, this is what a team is supposed to be, okay? And I agree with you. Different countries, different places have lost what it's all about. You've lost the fun of it. It's all about money. You've lost the fun. We talked about it last night. It's not about the money. It's about the hunt to get there. That's the fun part. It's the same as football, soccer, anything. It's all about to get there.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's interesting. I think about it's all about experiences.
Yep.
Whether it's, photography, selling an experience.
Yep.
Sports team, there's an experience.
Yep.
Right. Music is an experience, and and that's a conclusion I came to several years ago. Is that, in first world countries, the future of business is about what experience do you offer, and not your experience as a person, but what is the experience of your customer, what is the experience of your fan, what is the experience of your collector, and that's what's going to change a business in first world countries. Third world countries is a different story. I mean, they got a lot of different things going on there, but I think that's a common theme I see over and over.
It is, but if you think about how social media has changed this aspect of what you just said about experiences, this is why social media has burst out. This is why we have influencers, okay? Influencers is a brand of its own.
Right.
But they offer experiences. They offer what they do, how they do things. They offer unique stuff that individuals aspire to. And that's what they want. People want something to aspire to.
Right.
I believe, as you said, in political correctness, is we've taken away the people to go, I want to be there, because we have to have everybody equal. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go beep beep beep. Okay, because I would have sworn otherwise, but I thought I'd save you.
No, go
that.
ahead. We won't beep beep. We'll just let you swear.
Oh, like bloody bollocks! Yeah. It's just like you're trying to talk about political correctness and make everybody feel, oh, this is okay. It's not. This is not how life is. This is not nature. Okay, we haven't come to this so far by being politically correct. We have done it because our natural ability. We have to succeed. We have to push ourselves forward. Okay,
right.
And that's the part. People forget about that. I'm not sure if you've ever seen a documentary on Discovery called "The Men Who Built America."
I have.
Okay, it's one of my favorite TV shows. Okay,
Yeah.
and it's a rivalry between Carnegie, okay, and Rockefeller.
Right.
Okay? It was a genuine rivalry, and they used to send presents to each other. Okay, just to annoy each other. Like Rockefeller used to send to Carnegie a paper vest to show he came from a poor family. So Carnegie used to send to Rockefeller a bottle of fine Scotch whiskey, just because Rockefeller was a devout Baptist. Okay, so but that was rivalry. But because of that, it inched each other because they had to be the best. They had to push themselves to get there.
Yeah,
and that is what makes us who we are. Okay,
yeah.
and I think we've forgotten who we are. It's like we have to succeed, not because we have to keep everybody happy. Okay, because we have to succeed and be better and push ourselves forward.
You know, I think that we talked about early on in this podcast, like what took us to that Jordan Belfort event, and it was the networking thing. Yeah. And I think it's because we're naturally seeking, that who am I competing with now? Yep. Like, and it's not that I need to directly compete with you because there's more than enough in the world, but by having that peer association of, hey, I like where this guy's going. I think I can do better. Yep. It's a natural competition that just comes out if you have that internal drive.
It is, but also you can align yourself with people as well. That's the part that I enjoy as well. You align yourself with other people, and you go and you push yourself forward to succeed. If after that your success, you go your separate ways. Hey, it's a good story. Yeah. And that's the part. It's exactly the same with me.
Back to the experiences.
Yes, it is. It's all about that. It's we have to have something that it's our choice. Okay, you are who you associate yourself with, which is true.
Yep.
And everybody these days wants to be associated with successful people on social media, or they want to pretend to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
But it's if you actually know these people physically, it changes the
it definitely changes the dynamic. There's no question.
Yes. So
everybody should get out there and like find that peer group that pushes them to be better than they are, to do more than they've ever done, to push themselves further than they ever have, I think. And I think that's the biggest thing that I got from going to that group.
It is. It's all about, you have to keep on pushing yourself every single day. It's not because you can't live if you don't do it. It's because you want to see how amazing you are. Okay?
Yeah.
You're not here and I'm not here, okay, and your viewers aren't here. It's because of they've had a easy life, okay. It's the hard times that made us who we are today,
right?
Okay? And that's who we've learned from those lessons. But those people that we've met along the way, they've either pushed us up, okay, or we've had quarrels with them, but they made us much better. They pushed us. So I always look about who can push me up, who can I talk to, who can I be associated with, even if it makes me feel uncomfortable, okay? Why would I do it? You have to keep on pushing. It's like, why did you and me jump on a plane to San Francisco? Yeah, because we said, hey, this doesn't come up a lot of the time.
Right.
We want to go meet some interesting people. And we met some interesting people there.
We did, yeah.
And it was one of those things where we go, I'm glad I did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a fun experience and definitely met some interesting people and deepened some relationships.
Yeah.
Like, so that was definitely worth it in my opinion.
Yeah, it was. But I always look at the path not taken as well. Okay. We had a choice, okay, that this was offered to us.
Yeah.
And it was offered to more than you and me, okay?
Right.
Okay. But we're the only ones that took it up.
Right.
What would happen if we hadn't done it? Do you know, the path not take. It's
Probably would have just gone home.
No, but the thing is, okay, how would that affect my business in the future or my
Right.
mindset in the future?
Right.
Because I didn't do it. It's always the path not taken. It's like, if there's anything I'd love to see, is like the choices you made. How would that have changed your life, kind of thing?
Right.
Yeah. So
yeah, that's interesting. And Boo is a pretty interesting guy. I don't remember how to say his last name.
yeah, same here. It's just like, it's very hard not to say his name. Boo. So, but he's such a great entrepreneur. Very, very interesting. He's got passion about different everything he does, and all the different sports people he brought there. It was like, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
It's I respect his project and where it's going. So
Yeah. Yep. Is there any other relationships that I feel like you and I have stayed pretty connected
yes.
through that and past it? Who else have you stayed in closer connection with?
Oh, I've spoken. I can't remember his name now. He just put me on the spot, and I've just totally gone blank. Oh God. Okay.
Eric?
Eric was one of them.
Eric's from Sweden or Norway?
No,
or
Norway. Eric
okay.
from Norway, but
Okay.
also Eric from
Miami.
NFT Miami.
Yeah.
Okay. So I stayed in contact with himself. Okay, and I also stayed in contact with Rob Alexander. Okay, Grand Theft or the computer guy.
Yeah, the speaker.
Yeah, the speaker.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, that's interesting.
So I stayed in contact with them. Yeah, it's just, for me, it also has to be both ways.
Mm-hmm.
You can always try and connect and do everything. But if it doesn't come back the other way,
Yep.
then it's always about, okay, I don't have to do it. It's that if it's all about if you working together kind of thing. You show respect and you put things together. So
Yeah. You and Robert got into some conversation about, gamification and stuff, and then with Eric from Norway, right?
Yeah.
Svein is his actual
Svein,
name, right?
yes.
Svein. Are you working on any gamification projects in the NFT and crypto space?
I am actually. It just I was in LA and I was talking to some guys there. This project appeared on my desk 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And the project died because of a relationship in Dubai that just let the thing go. But the whole concept of it and how to do it, the opportunity is there now to move it forward. Okay, it's about motor racing and NFTing, so you can customize your own car and race it and different things. So there's a lot of opportunities there. So there's this part is interesting in my opinion because men love cars, women love cars. It's the racing. It's also so glamorous. You can bring the physical to the digital because F1 is such a global event.
Oh, I'd love to drive one of those cars.
If you want to drive one of those cars, then you need to go to Abu Dhabi.
Yeah?
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think I fit in them actually because I have driven a NASCAR.
Okay. But if you go to Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
You stay in the W Hotel Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
Okay. And the W Hotel is on
the track.
On the track. And I've done it. You can rent the cars and go around it. Okay. It's fun.
I was supposed to actually drive an Indy car in Vegas at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get in the car.
Okay.
Like my shoulders wouldn't fit in. I got my butt in there and tried to I could get one shoulder down, but the cockpit was not wide enough for my shoulders.
Oh, God. But the thing is that Vegas has got so much of these things as well. Yeah, they've got all these different kind of experiences and stuff like that, and it's so much fun. It's, it is. It's you have to feel alive. I'm not saying that. Do you know when you're going that speed and life is just going like that?
Yeah.
It's that adrenaline that goes through your body.
Oh yeah, it was intense.
Yes, it's just like that is what life is all about. It's like everybody is so focused on surviving, and COVID has re-emphasized this into me in such a way. We're not coming out of this alive, okay? None of us are. We're all not. It's all about the experiences, the fun we have, the time we're alive.
Yeah.
So everybody's becoming much more conservative, and they don't want to do these exciting things because they're afraid they're going to die or something.
Yeah.
I'm not saying doing crazy stuff, but you have to push yourself, because that's what makes life fun. So
that was a fun experience. They had those ones speed limited to 140 miles an hour roughly.
Okay.
But when you're doing 140 on a banked track,
yes,
that's pretty intense.
It is. It is very, very, very intense. But I can guarantee you one feeling is once you've done that 140, you want to do 150. That's the thing. As an entrepreneur, you want to push yourself to that limit until it's just like, and then you go, okay, now it's okay. Yeah?
Well, I now own a sports car, and I've done 152 in my car.
Okay. On the private tracks, of course.
Of course.
Of course.
I would never do that on a public road in rural Kuna, Idaho.
Of course you wouldn't. Especially with the cover it in mud. Just take mud, throw it on nobody can catch it. Not quite about done that before. So. But it's the same thing with the experiences. It's like it all goes back to experiences. It's, why is Vegas there? Okay.
Yeah.
It's an experience.
Creating an experience. Yeah.
It is. It's the fantasy with the reality. It's the digital with the physical. It's the mental with the physical.
I think you and I need to plan an experience.
Yeah.
What comes to mind? Something fun that you've been wanting to do.
Well, something fun that I wanted to do. That's I always do what I want to do. That's the problem. I'm going to go to Vegas F1. That's one thing I'm going to do.
Okay.
Because I've been to so many F1 races around the world. Okay.
I've never been to one, so I would love to do that.
Okay. Monaco was one of the most experiences I've ever had. Abu Dhabi was another one. Tokyo, Singapore, and Vegas has now got it, and it's going to be an interesting one. So
okay.
But the reason why I like going to these kind of events is the networking.
Right.
Okay. It's like you go to these hospitality suites and people are there, and the people you meet are like, whoa, okay,
right.
Interesting.
Yeah, interesting people.
Interesting people, successful people, people that you want to be associated with, but also people that you can learn from, either collaborate with or just be in contact with. Yeah. So, and that's the part. I like to look at experiences where I can actually, it can be beneficial for me in the future.
Sure. Creating relationships.
Yes.
Bonding.
Yes, exactly.
You can do that with an experience and you're winning all the way around.
Exactly. It is. It's an investment then. It's even with the financial cost, you can actually say, this was an investment.
Right.
Okay. And that's the part. As long as you can actually say this was an investment, that was a good transaction.
Yeah? Yep. So when is that going on in Vegas? I
can't remember. It's end of this year, I believe. So
okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna start doing some digging and see.
Sure. No, I'm the same. I was there last week, and a friend said, "Oh, this." I was like, "Oh, yeah." And then they started showing me the different places and different things. It's like, this is going to be some interesting people here. Yeah. But also there'll be a lot of Asian people there. So especially...
We better make our reservations, man.
Yeah, no. I think I have to call a couple of friends and...
get some favors called in.
Yeah, it's... because Vegas itself is changing like crazy. It's... but... There's always ways to make things work. There's always a solution, as we both keep on saying. So,
well, Monsters, we're going to wrap it. Tony, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. And you made a special trip just to do this. And so I really appreciate that. I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. I've also appreciated deepening the relationship and just getting to know you more and more. And I think that we're going to have some room to work together in the future on some projects. And so I'm super excited about that. And why don't you just take a second to just tell people how they can reach you and reach out to you if they have something that fits in the spaces that we've talked about that's in your wheelhouse.
Nice. Okay. Thank you, Doug, to begin with. Yeah, it's appreciative. So, but from my point of view, okay, I'm on Tony Evans Crypto on Instagram, on YouTube and everything like that. I have a lot of different projects, but I think maybe if I'm going to do something interesting, I'll do a Zoom with you, Doug, okay? And we can do it from that point of view.
Welcome to the podcast, Monsters. I'm your host, Doug Bartlett. If you have a mind for business or you want to grow, we are the podcast for you.